The last thing of that was, the fact that beyond the technology and embedding the application in the phone, the key thing in our view for mobile payment is to make the different ecosystem partner work together. We have seen in some countries the telecom operator doing something in their corner, but not always linked to the bank. We have seen in other countries a lot of banks doing stuff for their mobile bank people, but not really connecting those people who are unbanked with the people who are banked. So as we looked at that as part of Nokia, we said the first thing we would want to do is make sure that we can make these different partners work together. And so the system that we should propose to them should be open and standard enough so that each of these parties can find its own business. So for instance, the bank likes to work with the merchant. We should to be able to allow the bank to recruit the merchant on this new payment system. We should be able to allow the mobile operator to recruit their consumers on that system. And when there is a transaction from the consumer to the merchant, there should be a fair split of the value between the bank and the mobile operator. So this open ecosystem, in our view, is very important, as opposed to a system which would be closed, either to replace the bank or either to replace the telecom provider. We think the system should be open and split the value of a transaction between the different participants of a transaction. So, as we are trying to open this ecosystem and to enable this ecosystem, we have been trying to drive collaboration between the different participants. Okay. So, what did we try to build? As part of what we have been announcing as Nokia Money, we are trying to build a system that is focused on payment, not doing more than payment. We want to let the bank to deliver microfinance or loan. We want to let the insurance deliver insurance on that system. We want to propose an infrastructure that is focused on payment. That infrastructure should work on data services for high-end phone, but it should also work on SMS-based services or voice call, as I was showing in that simple system. In the same way as it's working on Nokia phone, it should work on other phones. Nokia has maybe 40–50% market share in countries like here, but in reality there is 50% of the people who don't have a Nokia phone. That should work on a Samsung phone, that should work on an LG phone, on an iPhone, on a BlackBerry. So we are very cautious in setting up a system that can work on these multiple phones. In the same way, it should work independently of the telecom operator. It's a little bit like SMS. When a telecom operator created something only on one telecom network, it did not go very far. SMS is working well because I know that I can send an SMS to anybody who has a phone number. I don't need to know what is his telecom operator. So the solution we are proposing here is also doing that. In the same way, it should allow to connect the bank people with the non-bank people. So if a bank wants to propose that to one of its customers, the bank can do so. The bank can sign the merchant, and as the bank is developing its customer base, this customer can transact with those customers which are brought by the mobile operator or by the Nokia distribution network, for instance. So as we were building that, we thought it was important in particular for developing countries, and we thought that we were to use a technology that had already implemented these type of solutions. We think that the biggest difficulty here is not so much the technology enabler, but it's more pulling together the ecosystem between the different partners and make work together the bank with the telecom operator with the different device vendors. So this is what we are trying to build with Nokia Money, and you would say, why is Nokia doing that? Just for you to understand what value as a device vendor can we bring to this system, and that would be my conclusion for tonight, is that the first thing we can do which can help that system is that we can preload this application on a lot of phones. As we are shipping 500 million phones per year on a global basis, if we are preloading this application in the phone, we're going to propose that application to all the phone users. The second thing that we can do and that we are working on is to use the retail distribution network in order to sell that service. So for instance, in Brazil, 40% of the phone are sold through an open distribution network. So what we could be doing would be to train this retail distribution point to do the subscription of the service and to be points of cash in, cash out. That would help in particular to reach the consumers which are out of the main cities and which are outside of the reach of a bank. Finally, the two other points that we can bring as a company for this, which we think is valuable to that ecosystem, is that a lot of people are using Nokia phone and the brand Nokia. So there is like 2 billion people using Nokia phone every day. In fact, those people could potentially, trust more efficiently the service if it was coming out of their phone. We understand that there are other brands and that, working with the bank, working with the operator is very important. But we think as well that we can bring a brand and some trust to that system. Finally, the global presence is important. We, as a company, are a global company. So we understand that these payment systems are going to start country by country, but we are present in 150, 180 countries. So we can cover some corridors that are not always easy to cover with other industries. The telecom have a specific footprint. The bank have a specific footprint. We are bringing another dimension global, which can be helpful as well to establish corridor of transmission of money between different countries. Okay? So that's concluding what I wanted to say today as an introduction of what we think is mobile payment. We have basically started to implement that into one country, which is India right now. We have implemented that in the first city in strong cooperation with a bank and with a technology platform that is already relevant for the bank and the mobile telecom provider. So we have implemented that system. We are now looking and asking in a community like here today, what are the other partners who would want to work with us to set up this ecosystem in other countries? Latin America in particular is a very interesting region because of the growth, because of the balance between banked and unbanked population, and because of the fact that if you want to grow an economic environment, it's very important to distribute financial capability to everybody in order to finance the economy. And so we think in that sense that it's a big opportunity we would want to develop.